Mm.
Oh, Your Majesty.
How's it going, Marie?
It's good to be the king.
Ah.
It's good to be the king.
Like it.
Your Majesty.
Mm. It's good to be the king.
You spoil me, humiliate me, only do it, hump, hump, hump.
It's good to be the king.
And all praise unto Yabashi Mashai, Bashim Kwa Hakodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. The brother everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kwa Hakodash. It's going to be a relatively quick video following on from the camp lesson sermon that I did on Friday, a couple of days ago. And I had gone into the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. And in process of time, I didn't really get to touch on some of the points in the latter part of the scripture, latter part of the verse, chapter Salakia. And this point here, the 22nd verse, is what we're going to be going into a little bit. So, you should have seen the clip at the beginning of the video. Kind of a comical clip. And, today's modern sensibilities, of course, we don't condone that kind of behavior, especially out there in public, but behind closed doors, what you do with your unit is what you do with your unit. And certainly within the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be very good to be the king, because you're going to be able to move how you want to move within the confines of the scriptures, of course, but move how you want to move. And as a result of the Most High's blessing, we're going to be increased upon the earth. And we're going to go into a few scriptures concerning that. So the first of which is, of course, the scripture within the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, and the 22nd verse on down. And it says here, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one, a strong nation, and the Lord will hasten it in his time. So when this world is destroyed and the Most High sets up a kingdom, we see that a little one was going to become 1,000. So guy right now, maybe he's down on his luck. Maybe he hasn't seen or known a woman in a little while. The Most High is going to raise him up. And the guy that's maybe you might call mighty, by this world's description, again, his value is going to be increased too. To the end that a whole flock of women is going to be running towards you. Let's get this scripture, the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter and the 12th verse. Now make a man more fine, more precious than the fine gold, even a man the golden wedge of Ophir. And this is really the Israelite man that is speaking about here, because a man's going to be a hiding place. The Israelite man, the elect of the Israelite man, is going to be a hiding place against the strong winds of the ICBMs, because we see that the salvation is going to be through Yahweh Shai. And when we go down the chain, we see after Yahweh Shai is King David, and after King David is the loyal men of Yahweh Shai, the men of the Lord, so you can understand. And unto them was going to be bestowed the gift of faith, and through that gift of faith, they was going to be able to persevere through the adversities that's going to come about here. That's how they was going to be as the fine golden wedge of Ophir. Because even the people that get the CHIP, they're going to be scared, they're going to be nervous when the times that are coming in, right? The scripture talks about how the devil is going to come down having great wrath. So even the people that get the CHIP, they're going to still be nervous. They're going to still see particular men moving around that stepped out on faith, that refused to bow the knee before the image of Baal, before the image of the beast, and they're going to see them get delivered. See, right now, your woman might not have the utmost respect for you. You might have a situation that's cool, but you can only imagine what kind of respect you're going to get. Like you seen in that clip, he was just moving how he wants to move. Do it, and again, it's comical. And again, we don't condone this kind of behavior out there amongst random people, but within your own household, you do what's acceptable in accordance to the law, within your own household. Okay, but you see how he moved within his own household, and he did what he wanted, and he still had the respect. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're going to get within the kingdom, man. That's what we're going to get within the kingdom. And that's why the scripture talks about how the man was going to be increased to be like the fine golden wedge of Ophir. And in that day will 7 women take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. You see that? So it can be very attractive in that day, boy. See, women like power. And doth not the scripture say that people shall be willing in the day of thy power? Let's get that scripture. Willing. Power. Okay? That people, Psalms 110:3, that people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness, from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of the youth. So we're going to have that power, man. Right? Spiritual power. Okay? The power that comes with being delivered. The power that comes with being a prince and a king within the earth. Even right now, when you see Jake on this low stature that we're in, you can see we got something special about us. You can see that the Most High has chosen us to be special and nigh unto him. Like it says here within the book of 1 Peter 2. And let's start from the fourth verse. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High. So we're disallowed right now. We're kind of like on a low level. Well, we are on a low level. We're on a very low level. Okay? And it's like when you come into this truth, sometimes it feels like you're even on a lower, even on a lower level. But that's all good. Scripture says, yea, also as lively stones built up. You see how the scripture says built up here, which is intersect the precept. It says built up physically, spiritually, but also two of thy seed. Amos the 9th chapter and the 10th verse, it says how the Most High was going to raise up. What's another word we could use for raise up? Build up the tabernacle, which means house of David, and the men that are associated with him that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I raise up his ruins as in the days of old. Okay? And I build it as in the days of old. Let's go back to this. Yea, your lively stones are built up a spiritual house. You see that? See how these precepts link up? Okay, they link up. One prophet says it one way, another prophet says it another, slightly different way, but it's all to the same point. A holy priesthood, right, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable unto the Most High. So we're a holy priesthood. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. No, it is the one I wanted. It's in the 9th verse. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. And contrary to what these other camps teach you, they teach you about, not these other camps, but there's one particular camp that basically says you were not going to have sex within the kingdom. I'm like, brother, what are you talking about? Didn't we just read that a little one shall become 1,000? Didn't we just read that the nations was going to be delivered? So it's the nations. That's saying right there. Didn't we read particular, or can't we read particular precepts? Let's say the destroyer of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans shall be delivered through the seed of the elect. Okay? So a little one's going to become 1,000 by getting it in. Did we just read the scripture within the book of Isaiah, the 4th chapter, where all of these women are going to be running for the men of the Lord? You're gonna need a stick to beat them off, man. Okay, like you've seen within the first portion of this video, the excerpt, the clip. You seen him, when she was on the bed getting ready to be ravished. And maybe I can find Genghis Khan's harem, and I'll put that at the back of the video. Not Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan from the Marco Polo TV program. Maybe I'll be able to find that and put that in there. All right, so you gotta have a ruling class mentality, man. There's a certain value that you have, and I suppose the most difficult thing is time. That's the most difficult thing, accepting that really this ain't our time to be glorified. Although we do have some form of glory, and we can be given from the Most High some form of glory. Really, this ain't the time for that. What's coming is gonna be a lot greater, where we're gonna be royal and a priesthood and a holy nation, a peculiar people, showing forth the praises of the Most High, of him that called you out of darkness into the marvelous light. And suppose the last precept I want to get is the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. And it's going to go into it in the same thing in a slightly different flavor. So the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. And we're going to go down to the latter parts of the scripture. Ezekiel 36:10, and I'll multiply upon you all the house of Israel, even all of it. Right? Multiply, man. How you going to be multiplying? All them women that the Most High's going to give unto us. Loads of them, man. You're going to have to sneak around and have the second phone within the car. Hide it underneath the car seat. A damn shame we're going to do all kind of crazy things, man. Right? Sneak the woman out the back the door. Hide the contact numbers or have the burner phone. Nah, we ain't going to do that, man. Right? It's going to be good to be the king. That's going to bring up your testosterone levels, man. So there's another part of this precept there that goes into increasing. See if I can find it. I mean, pretty much the point's been made. Okay, we're going to be increased. Right, we're going to be increased. Right, and I'll multiply the fruit of the tree and increase the fruit of the field. Right, and you shall receive no more reproach. Okay, and we're going to be multiplied too. We're going to be multiplied. Okay, we're going to be multiplied. So, hopefully that was of edification. With that, I'm going to say a praise unto Yabashima Shaiba Shimukwa Hakudash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. Honestly, brothers, to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.
The harem in Topkapi Palace holds a special place in the popular imagination, bringing to mind images of a secret world filled with wanton excess.
I think what we tend to think of is the sort of things that are informed by 19th century artists who kind of dreamt of what life might be like in the harem, and they came back with these ideas of lascivious women reclining, odalisques reclining on by the pool, and naked women, so on. All this kind of crazy, fantastic, sort of sexy place.
But the truth about the harem is anything but sexy.
It's actually quite a severe environment, and I often compare it to, it's like a kind of really tough girls' boarding school. That was all incredibly hierarchical, and it was all graded, and they moved up the sort of hierarchy, and ultimately the women he slept with were chosen for him by his mother. And also they'd be brought in, they would convert to Islam, and then they would be brought up as Ottoman gentlewomen, and they would go through a whole process of education, deportment, how to speak properly. They would have simple tasks, they'd have jobs to do, they might look after the sherbet kit, or they might look after the coffee utensils that the Sultan might use. They might fold his underwear, it was that kind of thing. They might wash his clothes. So they got these jobs, then they learned how to speak, they learned how to carry themselves, at which point they might either be chosen to sleep with the Sultan, or more likely, and far more likely, they might never even see the Sultan. And of course, even if later on in life they left the palace, and they left it either to marry a pasha, or when the Sultan died, the women who survived him would